Welcome to California, Mr. Bond.
Hello, here we are.
Hello.
And there's my dog just popped up. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Sorry, he just said hi. Sorry about that.
He transported in.
I know he did. He wants to get walked, but I'm not going to do it right now. So, here we are again. I always ask what episode this is. Is this 12? Is this 12 or is it 13?
I think it's 11.
What is it? No. That was the last one. Anyway, I don't know.
We'll figure it out, and it'll be listed
Yeah.
properly.
I guess I should keep track of this before I actually start these things.
Pay no attention to the men hosting the podcast.
Yeah, but here we are. We're gonna have a good one today.
Yeah.
It was good. It was actually recorded a couple weeks ago. So, but
but it's a perfect time.
Yeah.
To put it up, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. News. The Road to a Million show. Is out, and I mean it's out if people want to watch it.
It seems that most of our brethren in the community have watched it. They've opined about it.
It took me a couple weeks
to
watch it. I liked it. I had a good time.
I enjoyed it. I liked how much more Bondian it felt as opposed to the first season. I'll say this: I've noticed a few negative comments, and some of them come from just people that don't like these kind of shows.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of these kind of shows. I don't watch reality competition or even game shows. I don't watch any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But this is 007 and all Bond stuff. So of course, we watched it and everything, and then and getting to talk to Bruce Fierstein, worked on this season. You could definitely see his stamp on it.
It's good,
much more fun, a much more narrative flow. It felt like an adventure movie as opposed to the last season, which still had a narrative, but it almost felt like they were embarrassed to be like, we're James Bond, but not really.
Yeah.
This time it with the first, the psychiatrist from Skyfall.
Oh yeah.
First thing out of his mouth. Do you have any quality?
No, it was
similar to James Bond. They just straight up say the man's name, right in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was fun. I actually looked forward to watching it, so that's a good sign. Like I want to see the next one and the next one. So
great cliffhangers.
Yeah, hopefully there'll be a season 3. I mean, I don't know how it's been.
So
I mean, we don't really know how these shows actually perform, but it looks. I had a great time with it. So
now for us old school Bond fans, seems to be kind of can go either way. Some people are like and other folks like us are like, we dug it. We had a good time with it. This is one of those things where my 10-year-old nephew Henry and my 4-year-old nephew Jack, actually the oldest watched the whole thing with me, and he got hooked.
That's good.
And we watched an episode or two every night before he went to bed, and he was getting excited. He was, Uncle Steve, you ready for the next episode? We're gonna watch the next. You ready to get some ice cream? Watch the next. It was hell yeah, man. We're gonna do it. And it was making me enjoy the show actually a lot more, because now Henry's been getting into Bond bit by bit in the last few years. He's at that age where this stuff is actually piquing his interest. And but I'm going to say that this Road to a Million show drove that interest right over the top.
That's good. Well,
he was asking
I'm sure MGM would be happy that you said that. So.
Oh yeah. Every reference, every piece of music, every little action sequence, every challenge that they did, he was asking, what is that from? Is this from in Vienna? Yeah. When they're doing the sniper, he's like, he's really into Fortnite. So anything with guns and stuff, he's like, So they're like, the sniper game. He's like, Uncle Steve, which movie? And he had seen The Living Daylights. So he's like, what movie had the sniper? And I'm like, Living Daylights. But so we finished that episode, and the next morning he wakes up, goes right to the TV and goes into my Apple where all my Bond movies are and puts on The Living Daylights.
I love the part where like, if you didn't know that it was from there, Brian Cox goes, let's scare the living daylights out of them.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Henry even pointed that out. That was also the giveaway. He was like, there it is, So
I like he just looks right at the camera and
I know,
says
just Bam, you know,
I mean,
just
there was never a point where he goes Moonraker or something like that. You know what I mean? It's
it's like M in Thunderball going code name
Thunderball.
Thunderball. But
It
yeah, so
was fun. I liked how they referenced Roger Moore stuff, Dalton.
oh yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't just Craig
Dalton
based
got
the
a
whole
lot of
time.
love
Yeah, it
in
wasn't
this
just Craig
show.
stuff the whole time. So that was
Yeah.
good. They had the music from Thunderball. That was really great. I
Oh
liked
my
all that
God,
stuff.
it was awesome the way they used all the music from it, even like little cues from Diamonds Are Forever
Yeah.
and things like
And I
that.
don't
It
want to
was
blow it for people, but they revisit set pieces from certain films, so that's
oh
great where
yeah.
they filmed it at locations and stuff. So that was really good.
In episode 3, when they're on the cable car,
Yeah.
my youngest Jack, I was kind of babysitting, and Henry hadn't gotten into watching it yet. Um, so I just started watching it on my own.
Yeah.
And when they're doing the cable car
Yeah.
challenge, and this isn't a giveaway, people have seen it in the preview. There's a couple of the teams that are actually walking across
Yeah.
cables to get to their destination. So I didn't think that Jack, my youngest nephew, was paying attention. And then all of a sudden I see him stacking all the little stools and pieces of furniture that are in
Mm,
this TV room into like this little, I don't know, kind of pile. And then he
mm.
takes this big giant yoga roller that my mother has,
Oh
and
wow.
places it precariously on the edge, so it's kind of at an angle. Then he tries to climb up this little structure that he's built, and I'm like, "The hell are you doing, man? You're gonna break
Yeah.
your neck." And he's like, "I'm climbing down the cable car, Uncle Steve."
Yeah. There you go.
Like, whoa, okay. So he was getting into
That's
it,
good.
and so it was really good. And when the whole show was over, the very next morning, Henry went and turned on Doctor No.
That's good.
He didn't. He was usually he's like, "Oh, do you want to watch a Bond movie? Or are you watching?" But this time he's like getting more into it, and his interest has, like I said earlier, really gotten bigger because of the show.
It's good.
And that kind of show is, I guess, more a younger generation's
Hmm.
kind of thing. It's more their speed. It's more they're
Yeah.
more used to it. They see a lot more of it. You know, we're old enough to remember when these things were like brand
Yeah.
new, and you know,
Yeah.
oh, this is a new genre here. And but yeah, and you know, so in my mind, I'm thinking whether you like the show or not, whether you connected with it or not, is irrelevant. I'm seeing young kids
Hmm.
connecting with it, and through that
Hmm.
going, hey, Uncle Steve, what's up with James Bond? What's up with this? What's up? And
Hmm.
they're getting more interested to watch these things than they were just kind of in the
Yeah.
periphery with, you know, me and like my brother Chris, you know,
Yeah.
just watching it on our own and being, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Now they're actively asking questions about what movie is that from? What movie did this come from?
Yeah.
What movie is that about? Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. Or
Yeah.
cool, where is this movie from? Or
Hmm.
so it was for me, that was the most exciting part, was watching it with, you know, these young kids
Yeah.
who couple of years ago, Henry looked me dead in the eye and said, James Bond is for old people. I'm not.
Oh
And
wow.
now he's going, oh, Dr. No is really cool. I love the 60s style. And you know,
It's good.
he's connecting with it. And I think it's just also not so much the reality show and oh, this new thing will get me into this old
Yeah.
thing. It's these let's not call them old, let's call them classic.
Yeah.
These classic films that have never really gone out of style
Hmm.
and continue to get reinvigorated and reinvented, and they go on and they go on. It's just there's still it's I guess it's something some people are able to articulate it better than me. I'm someone who's just like, well, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's
Hmm.
just that magic.
It's
The
good.
Bond movies just have that magic, and however people discover it, whether it's through the music or a reality show or their uncle or their father or whatever, they'll in their own time, they all of a sudden, ah, there it
Hmm.
is. That's why this
Yeah.
stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Why we love this stuff.
Yeah.
And it warms my heart.
Yeah, there you go. I
To
think
see
on that
that.
note, that's a good connection to our guest because someone who also found it at a very early age
Yeah.
a while back.
Danny Biederman.
Danny Biederman, collector extraordinaire, who I think would back up your views on Bond there and mine.
Yeah.
He has probably the largest spy based collection, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Out there, yeah.
And you'll
So
see, and this is one of the first podcasts will do, where there's actually going to be a little finesse and
Little
pizzazz. There's going
pictures,
to be some
yeah.
images
Yeah.
of his collection to go along with the
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. So we had a really great chat with him. So why don't we just dive right into it? And yeah,
Sounds
but
good to me.
watch the TV show, watch Road to a Million. We do recommend it. If I didn't like it, I would say it. So I
Yeah.
did like it. So
Yeah. We are
I
not paid
enjoyed it.
employees of anybody. These
No,
opinions are purely
I
our own.
I generally enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
okay, here we go. Enjoy, folks. Yay.
Ciao.
Here we are. Okay, we
Hello,
are
hello.
here. Hello, hello. We are starting our podcast with Mr. Danny Biederman, collector extraordinaire. Thank you for speaking with us. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks
Hello,
for
Danny.
Yeah. You've been a big supporter of our movie nights, and we appreciate that. So I was like, let's have him on the show and
Yeah.
talk about your collection, which is pretty big. So
happy to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'll just begin. How did you get into James Bond?
Yeah, that happened when I was a kid. And I was about 10 years old. It happened through another spy show, which was The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And that was back in '64 when it had just come on the air. And my mom was a big fan of detective shows, and she ran into my room and she had just seen the pilot episode of it. And she was going crazy and said, "You have to see this next week." So I watched the second episode of The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And that's what started me on the secret agent kick, because I had, as a little kid, I'd never seen anything like this in my life. And my parents said, if you like that, you need to go see a James Bond movie. And at that point, the last one had been From Russia with Love. Okay. So it was only weeks away that Goldfinger was coming out. And so I went to see that. That was my first James Bond movie. And that had the same effect on me as The Man from U.N.C.L.E. I just loved that world with all the spy elements and everything. So the rest is history. I was hooked on Bond and the rest of the genre, forever.
So I guess how did you build your collection? How did that start? If you can go into that.
Yeah, happy to. Well, it started pretty much immediately. I mean, it started like, as with most kids, whatever they might be into, buying toys, merchandising and stuff, because when 1965 rolled around, there was a spy craze led by James Bond. And so there was like endless spy shows and movies. It was a huge wave. It was all over the world. And I got swept up in it. And so, of course, there was tons of merchandising, as from James. So that's what started, was with the toys. So I just amassed all the toys and everything. And then it was in 1970 that the first movie studio auction occurred, which was the MGM studio. Mm-hmm. And I was like in high school then. And I knew MGM had made The Man from U.N.C.L.E. And I thought, whoa, an auction like used that you saw on screen, not just toys. So I got the day off, or something from school, but I went to the auction.
Wow.
And tried bidding on, they had, Uncle items there. And being a young teenager at the time, I had very little money to spend, was unable to get any of those things, which by today's prices, it was like nothing, right? But then like a lot. If there was something that was $75, $125, it was a lot. Now they go to thousands and thousands of dollars. Yeah. But they had a retail sale on one day where it was just stuff that, it was just clothing hanging on racks. And I found these like uniforms that Thrush security guards used in U.N.C.L.E. and Thrush patches. And these were all things from the show. And they were like, the patches were $1 each. The uniforms were $5 each. I could afford that. So that was my beginning of collecting production items. And so I would roll after that. And that became really my key desire, is loving things from the productions, whether they're props, wardrobe, documents, drawings, blueprints, correspondence, whatever. And that's how that got going.
So do you collect, like with James Bond, do you collect stuff from the novels or just from the movies? Like what's your specialty generally with what you buy and collect?
Well, it's across the board. I mean, it's everything. But the novels, I mean, I have all the novels, and I love getting the different like foreign editions. And I love that. I mean, my bookcase is filled with spy stuff, just tons of James Bond, like probably you guys too.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Different kinds of things, books about James Bond, etc. But so that's part of it. But the bigger passion is like the props and things like that. And Bond is probably, it's been my experience over the years, is, well, they're all kind of difficult, but especially because Bond is so popular. That's become harder to get. And of course, now when they go into auction, they're very, very high priced.
Yeah.
What is it about, or what was it specifically about, I guess, that pop spy genre when it was getting big in the 60s that drew you to it? What was the thing that just was like a magnet?
It's hard to say exactly, but when it happened, with the Connery films, and it was the character, especially as portrayed by Sean Connery, that was magnetic, as it was, I think, for a lot of people, even people who didn't stick with it as I did. But it was like the coolness of it. It was like overall cool is like the definitive word, and
Yeah.
it was the action, the spy elements, the gadgetry, the women.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you have to be more careful these days in talking about it. It was more, it was more of the Bond girls, which you don't
Yeah.
say like Bond women, of course, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like that. It's like how he was with the women and the women themselves, the actresses, the characters, the stories. It was just so thrilling and exciting, and the hero element. I had been, before I got into spies and James Bond, when I was really little, I was into Superman. I had tons of Superman comics, collected them all. I watched the old Adventures of Superman with George Reeves from the 50s.
Yeah.
And I like that hero aspect too. And the fact of Clark Kent and, the guy in the business suit, who just looks ordinary. But in Superman's case, he actually, he changed into become this incredible hero from another planet. And I think there was a little bit of that I was seeing when I saw Uncle and James Bond, because again, it was like, oh, ordinary guy in a business suit,
Mhm.
who isn't all that ordinary, that he has a secret life. And so whether it's the spies, if you'd see James Bond walking on the street or something, you wouldn't know he's a spy, or any spy you don't, you're not supposed to know. But similar to Clark Kent as Superman. So I think it bridged over into that. And I started to like the James Bond stuff and the spy stuff even more because it wasn't as fantasy as Superman. Not to put down Superman, because I still love it.
Yeah.
More like, oh, this is within the realm of possibility. Like, I can't really be Superman with those superpowers, and you're not from another planet, but you can be, somebody who, aspired to be, who's that cool and wants to save the world and do good, like both characters do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with Bond, I remember when I was, one of the things that really drew it was the idea that you can have all these wild and exotic adventures right here in the world that we live in. All real places that he goes to that are all like Venice and the Taj Mahal and all these really incredible spots that you don't have to make up a sci-fi planet and a fantasy world to go. We have all these amazing things right here that
Exactly.
James Bond shows us. This is an amazing, amazing world that we live in.
Exactly. I agree with you. Yeah. There's that aspect to it. So
What
yeah.
was the first Bond item you purchased, if you remember?
Oh my goodness. Other than sizing stuff. You mean like in terms of production items kind of?
Yeah, production item, yeah.
That is really a tough one to try to remember what
Okay.
that might be. I mean, it goes, one of the early things I got was there was I think, there was a tarantula. I have the prop tarantula
Oh.
from, and that was used on the set. I mean, there's a production photo of Connery with the
Wow.
tarantula on his pillow, which was set up. It was not in the movie.
Yeah.
But it was this prop tarantula. So I can't remember the year I got that. It was decades ago though.
Mhm.
So that that was an early thing. the desk, Blofeld's desk from Russia with Love. I have, and that's that's way back when. I don't know if this goes back to the like 80s or 90s or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I don't think the prop items and production items started that early, like
Yeah.
something, but it was a decade or two later.
Yeah. When did Bond items start? When did they start to sell them or auction them off? Like when is the time that they became more available?
Shoot, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I can't really say that exactly.
Okay.
I've been tracking all this stuff since
Yeah.
1970, and watching the stuff. But they obviously did suddenly start becoming available, I think. But with my collecting, it was really it's changed a lot, because when I began, and auctions weren't prevalent, and people weren't, from what I could see, collecting memorabilia, this kind of stuff, as much then as what happened later and currently.
Mm-hmm.
And less competition, the stuff wasn't really available. And as soon as I found out, oh, those things exist somewhere, I began looking. And so it began as a networking thing. And of course, living in LA, where a lot of stuff is made, not England, of course, but it's like I would network, I would meet, and as a writer, being a writer, I've worked on TV shows and production, I've been on movies and things like that. So working in the industry and being connected with a lot of people, I connected with a lot of production people who had jobs on these different spy shows and things, and met them. And at that time, people were donating things to me. It wasn't like where it's like cutthroat and you go in. Done that too. I don't like it. I don't like the atmosphere, and it's like people are buying for it, and the money, the auction house is geared toward make as much as we can. So it's that, I liked it when it was more organic, when it was more like, searching for this stuff. And it's like the detective work. And that's like so much a part of the fun of it, rather than showing up in a catalog and it's going to be auctioned off. It's like, no, you start meeting people, and that's part of it, meeting people, the humanity of it, and meeting somebody who maybe worked on a show or a movie you liked a lot. And many of these people said, like prop people or different people say, oh, I saved this. There's a guy who was a prop guy and also was a stuntman in the Wild Wild West TV show from the 60s, with James Bond in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I saved this mask. I say, I saved this. And he was an older guy and everything. And he knew people could see my passion for it and that I want to preserve these things and everything. And so they would donate them to me. And I've even for years, I've had people like Bruce Geller's family, Bruce Geller, who created Mission Impossible, the TV show, which became the movies and everything.
Yeah.
I, met his wife, his widow, and she just like donated, like I have his whole archive of like original typed when he had the idea for Mission Impossible, which wasn't even called Mission Impossible. So I have boxes of that, which I greatly. So it's very, I don't know. Yeah, it's more, you're not out there to make money on it. You're just out there because you care about it. And then people see that. So that's how I got a lot of these things. And the fact that I've been doing my exhibits of the Spy-Fi exhibits, I like to share them with other people. And I think that's really important to do.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people that collect, they don't always show off their belongings, or they keep it for themselves. So it's good you put it out there. I know you do that a bit.
I've had 15 exhibits so far, and it's like it was interesting because it got to a point where I would have friends come over to my home, to my house or something, and I have a huge 16 millimeter collection, and so we'd spend screening mostly spy shows and things, 16 millimeter. And they'd say, "Oh, you get anything new?" And I'd have some prop. I say, "Oh yeah, this." And they say, "Oh, that's really cool." And so it's nice to share it and stuff. But I started feeling like it's not right for me to just have this. Yeah, I love it, but it's like, wait a second, it's not right to protect it, like, keep it from others. So, and it was just at that time when I got the phone call from the CIA.
Oh, wow.
Which was like out of the blue, and I didn't real, but it's like,
They're like, why are you calling me?
Yeah, yeah, a friend of mine, joking around with me or something, but no, actually the CIA, and they heard of my collection and wanted to put it on exhibit. So that's just when I was thinking about, I want other people to see this. And that's the CIA exhibit, because it got international attention and so on. It's like, that's when people started coming, like museums and stuff, saying, we'd like to have this. And it became a business because, I charge loan fees for the, to do it. So it's like a business for me. But it was the point was that I get to share it with, put it out there. And what I've loved the most is when I'm there and I get to talk to people and everything. And people say, I grew up with this, or this James Bond movie was like the coolest. And, it's like there's that whole aspect to it.
Oh, nice.
What did the CIA want you to put up? Like, what were they? What did they ask for?
First they sent two of their people to my house, and
wow.
I was very nervous because I still, even though I talked to them on the phone, I kept feeling like, could this be a scam?
Yeah,
this stuff is valuable.
Yeah.
And so I met them. I didn't meet them at the house, but I met them for dinner and then everything. But they were really nice. They came over to my house, and they came back for like 3 days in a row. It was three, and I showed them everything. It was like thousands of items, and they took pictures and made drawings of all the items. And it got to a point where they said, you don't have the shoe phone from Get Smart, do you? And I said, well, yeah, I do. I had all these boxes. I said, I think it's right there. And I took it out, and they freaked out, and they looked at it. We are doing this exhibit. We are doing this exhibit. That was the thing. And what they wanted was just, we did like 400 items. They wanted me to make selections, and I sent them a list. It was a whole process, took many months, and came up with 400 items, which is a lot. And, and when and then they flew me out there to meet everybody, and we did it. And it was just an incredible, unreal experience,
And that's the only time there's been any kind of exhibit like that at CIA headquarters, right? That's the only time they've done that, I think.
Well, it was the first of its kind. They have their own exhibits, in-house exhibits, and a lot of it is real. I mean, it's not fictional. It's all real stuff because it's CIA, and they have things that aren't classified, and a lot of historic things that they have on display and stuff like that. There's a CIA museum, I worked with those people. So, but I haven't heard of anything exactly like this. And I got, and I met, it was great because I was meeting with people, like people would stop me when I was there for like almost a month setting it up with them. People working for CIA walking the hallways would stop me and thank me for bringing it. And a lot of them, I found out, joined the CIA because of the James Bond movies. Like when they were younger and they loved them so much, or it could be, there's one guy who's a friend, many people are friends of mine now, but one of them grew up on I Spy and loved the character of Alexander Scott. And that inspired him to join the agency. And a lot of the people joined because of the fictional spying. So that was really enlightening. So it was a great experience. But what was interesting was that as much as I wanted to share everything with the public was not allowed inside the CIA.
Oh, wow.
But it was like tons of people who worked there, everybody, and the VIPs could come. Any people, ambassadors, people from other countries could come and see it. But you couldn't do it if you weren't, But that's what kicked off invitations from other museums, so the public could all see it.
What's been the biggest outside of the CIA exhibit? What has been the biggest exhibit that you've been able to be a part of?
Well, I would say the Reagan Presidential Library was a pretty big one. They contacted me like shortly after the CIA, and they asked for the CIA if they would put in some things too. So I had in 2002, I think it was, I did, it was like 4 months, maybe, or 3 month exhibit. Really nicely staged, well done, at Reagan, which is out here in like Simi Valley, So that was good. That was good. It got a lot of press and publicity. A lot of these things got a lot of publicity. And yeah, and I even I had Robert Vaughn. I don't know if you're familiar with Robert Vaughn, who started Uncle.
Yep.
He was a friend of mine at that time, and they said, "Can you get him to speak here?" And he jumped at it. He just like jumped at it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I picked him up at the airport and brought him out.
Oh, that's cool.
So he and I and the director of the museum all spoke at the beginning of the grand opening. So it was a lot of party, celebration kind of stuff for that. So yeah, that was one of the big ones, I would say.
Other than Bond, one of my favorite spy shows is the Wild Wild West. What do you own from that? I'm just yeah.
Oh man, I have a lot of stuff from
Yeah.
Wild. I mean, I really do. I have the sleeve gun device that Robert Conrad used.
Oh wow.
I have two of his suits.
Oh wow.
I have, Artemis Gordon's one of his suits. I have a lot of blueprints from the sets, production sketches.
That's cool.
Things, yeah. And it was given to me when I was working on my book, and they just like gave me the stuff. Like they had boxes and like from the whole 4 years of the show.
Wow.
Collection. They let me go through the boxes and just said, here, you can just take it and do what you want. So I took a lot of it. But shortly after I took it, and I still have all those great sketches and everything, they had a flood in their, like a basement of one of their buildings where they stored all this stuff, and everything that was not taken from Wild Wild West or all their other stuff got destroyed in the flood.
Boy.
I was very happy that
yeah
things, but yeah. Oh, and I have Wild Wild West. Yeah. I'm trying to think some of the things. The blueprints. I have a painting that's like the original sort of design for the opening title sequence.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, I love that show. I love the show that it's like it's original. I mean, it's a copy of James Bond in a way, but it's its own original concept, and I love it. I mean, it's so much fun. So it's really fun, and like Dr. Lovelace is amazing. Michael Dunn was tremendous in that. So I mean, it's just so much good stuff. So
yeah,
no. What back to Bond? What do you what's your favorite James Bond? Let me just ask that.
Oh, yeah, it's an easy one. It's not easy because close, but I have determined for years that favorite one is From Russia with Love.
Okay.
I just think it's an incredible movie on its own, even apart from Bond, but it just works so well to me. It just works so well in so many ways. The story is it works so effectively. It's like less formula, even though you can the things that like, oh yeah, it has this and this and this that all the Bond movies have. It just works so well in the story, and it follows Fleming's novel so that's my favorite. But it gets really close with the others. I mean, my favorites really the first 6 of the 60s are like my favorites. But I grew up on those. But they are my favorites. But From Russia with Love, on Her Majesty's Secret Service, I would say is a really close second to From Russia with Love, because and sometimes I debate it, but I can't let go of From Russia with Love. It's too good. I'm somebody who really likes George Lazenby in the role. I really like it. I'm not one of his critics, or it's like, oh, he's he didn't know, he's not a good actor. So no, I thought he did a great job.
He's good. Yeah.
And so, but Connery, there's something magical about Sean Connery in those early, I feel, and then it goes from there. It's like, okay, would it be Goldfinger or Dr. No, Thunderball? And then it starts going down. I mean, You Only Live Twice, I tend to put toward the end. I love it, but because it story-wise and stuff, there's issues with it.
Yeah.
It was a little over the top. And Sean Connery even said that, I made a documentary, I don't know if you know, about I was on the set of the Bond movies.
Oh, I know.
Were you aware?
No, I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was a filmmaker when I was young, and I did I got on the set. It was a big deal to go through the studio and everything, who really didn't want me to do it.
Okay.
Diamonds Are Forever, and I ended up being on the set and shot this little documentary short about it. And I met Sean Connery there, which was a huge deal for me. I was 17 years old and interviewed him there, and that was like incredible. But my point was that he was talking about why he came back and everything. I asked him all about that. He talked about why, and he talked about you only live twice, and how by at that point he said, well, you got helicopters flying all over the place and volcanoes and stuff, and he just felt like it had gotten out of hand, and it was time, not do this anymore.
What was he like? What was he like to talk with and interact with?
He was fantastic. I mean, he was great. I was a nervous wreck because I was like young and he was like this hero figure to me. And so I was just like, but he was so kind, so kind. It was in LA. It was shooting the at the hangar, with Felix Leiter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that whole scene. Everything there was shot for the whole day. Jill St. John was there. I interviewed Guy Hamilton as well.
Oh, wow.
Jill St. John disappeared before I was just about to ask her for an interview. but because all she did was like get off the plane and walk,
Yeah.
But Connery was, he was standing with Guy Hamilton between takes, and they were looking at an art book. Guy Hamilton brought over this book of artwork and was sharing it with him, and they were looking at it. I was standing nearby thinking, I don't want to bother them, but I really talked to him. So when I asked him, and we said, well, I only have a few minutes, but sure, I'd be happy to. And so I was surprised because I remember reading all the press about how he was sick of talking to the press playing James Bond because people were following him into bathrooms in Japan and stuff like that. But I have a feeling because I was, a kid and he was seeing me shooting it with my 16 millimeter camera on the set. As a kid, I felt like that maybe had been part of it, that he was being helpful to me and stuff. And he really gave me a lot of information and a lot of time. And in fact, while I was shooting him during one of the scenes, he suddenly, just before they were rolling the camera, but just before he started acting, he did a dance in front of my camera. He started doing a little dance, being funny,
Oh, that's funny.
and stuff. And then I wrote him after I finished my film. I wrote him a letter to England, thinking I'd never hear anything, but I thanked him. I sent him a poster for my movie, and I got a letter back from him.
Oh, wow.
Really kind, saying he wished me well with my career and blah, blah, blah. And so it was,
oh my God, that's
really,
amazing.
I can't say enough nice things about him,
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have a copy of that documentary still? I mean,
it's a long story. I do.
Okay.
It was a half hour. It got re-edited into a 6-minute version that I haven't reconstructed yet because I was on a TV show and they wanted 6 minutes, and I had I didn't have copies of it. I had the original. So I'd like to reconstruct the whole thing one of these days.
No, that would be great.
See that.
Yeah, we're doing our screening. Well, Diamonds may be showing up in our screening soon, so I don't want to blow it, but there's a strong possibility of that. So yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. What do you let me think. So where do you house all of your collection? I'm sure it's a lot. So where do you generally keep it?
I never reveal where it is.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's the top secret.
No, it used to all be in my home, but it overflowed.
Okay.
I have it in several different locations.
Okay.
Stored, but they're stored. Yeah. So.
I imagine that when you have to, like for example, for the CIA exhibit, 400 pieces, that's got to be a huge production to get everything moved and to have, a crew set them up properly. And it's not just the items, right? There's also plaques that go with it, and
it's a huge production. Yeah, especially with 400 items. And I, having had no background in staging exhibits or anything like that, it was new for me. But I had huge support, from CIA. I mean, I had to catalog everything, get them the list, a lot of that kind of thing, the boxing of everything. I mean, they had set up a what do you call it? Transport company that it would high security. Every time I've done it when it's here in the U.S., it's very high security. They have these high security transports for art, like fine art, and they're unmarked vans, that
Oh,
carry.
wow.
And so it takes stuff across country or wherever it's going. So the CI did that, and they had a whole division. I mean, I had to write the copy for the cards, the descriptor cards, but they produced everything. They created a brochure, fold out like 4 or 6 page color brochure that was professional, which I still have some copies of. Yeah, and so it was a lot of support. But like I said, when I went there, it was like a month of working with them to set it up. But I had the whole support system there, from them. And similar with what happens with other museums that I work with. I've done a big exhibit at International Spy Museum, the Queen Mary, National Atomic Museum, a lot of different places. The Pentagon, I had a whole exhibit. And so they, in most places, they have curators, they have people, they work with you. Everything's insured. They insure everything. But it's a lot of work for me, but it's not just me that's doing it. They have people who, set up the staging and everything. And it's discussed with me, like which ones we're going to show, what's the presentation going to be, what's and everything. So it's a big deal, but it works out really great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you know where everything is? Like, I mean, because I'd imagine you have thousands of pieces. So how do you, if you want to find one thing, where do you go for that?
I'm dealing with that now because when I was doing the CIA, I had everything cataloged. I got some help from some people, and we cataloged every single thing. It took a very long time, and so I had this thick folder thing of Excel, every single item and where it is in the box and item numbers and everything. It all over the years has just kind of fallen apart because I have to take things out of the boxes and send them somewhere else. And it's me. I'm like essentially a one-man operation for this whole thing, and then suddenly do a TV interview or something, and they want this and this and this. I have to pull them out. And suddenly things start running behind. And so I end up starting a new box.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's gotten out of control. Now I'm focusing on, I've got to recatalog everything. I have to revamp it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I imagine for the blueprints, and I imagine you have scripts. Do you digitize those to preserve them, or is that something you do?
No, but I should.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Things that need to be digitized, that are in writing. I have a lot of original stuff, original scripts, stuff with handwriting from the actor or the, whatever. And my films, like I said, I must have like 1,000 film reels, all 16 million. Some of them are really rare, and all that really should be digitized too, because, like any format, they eventually can deteriorate, become corrupted. But film over years can get this vinegar syndrome, and it can not be runnable. So a lot of that stuff, but it's all very costly too. So I'm hoping to find maybe a grant or something like that could help for preservation of the arts, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Yeah.
What is the holy grail of your pieces? What do you look at as like, wow, I own this piece?
Yeah. Well, I mean, from the point of view of the public and partially for me, the shoe phone really is a big thing. And I know it was from the 60s, but even though it's from the 60s, it's, it was in reruns for so many times and on cable and so forth. So it's gotten, new generations have gotten to know it. But as time goes on, less and less people and new generations are familiar with, these things from the 60s. But that's really popular. So that's like a major, major piece that people light up when they hear about the shoe phone. But for me personally, and there's reasons for this, it was like the holy grail. It was like the thing that is the most valuable to me is the cigarette case communicator from the Man from U.N.C.L.E. series.
Oh, wow.
It was the first gadget I ever saw in that first Uncle episode I ever saw, where it's like, looks like a regular cigarette pack and flips it open and you see the cigarettes on top. But when you slide it out, it's this gold communication device that can transmit all over the world.
I remember that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Saw it. I loved it. Of course, they went to a pen communicator later, which I also have. I have 2 of the cigarette case, but this one, I had dreams about finding it in an antique store. I mean, I made drawings of it as a kid, and I was looking for it for decades. And I ended up finding it in the most miraculous way. It was like a miracle. How it happened. There's like 3 pages in my book, my Incredible World of Spy-Fi I wrote,
Yeah.
which are 3 pages about what happened.
Uh-huh.
But it was something where I actually got wind of but a major prop person that had something like that, and it took months to get over. He said, "Yeah, I got something here. It looks like a little radio, and cigarettes on top."
Mhm.
And I couldn't believe it. This was decades later, and
Wow.
it took weeks to be able to meet him. He kept putting me off and putting me off.
Oh boy.
Met him. He had other items, props from Uncle that have never shown up before, which I was amazed about. Napoleon's solo business card,
Oh, wow.
then the triangular badges, some of those that they wore. So that was a miracle, but he didn't have the cigarette case thing out there. We talked, we shared stories about working in the industry for like an hour or so. And then I see these, this is fantastic, but where's the communicator? And he said, "Oh, you know what? I forgot. I threw that out weeks ago."
What?
And my heart sank,
Oh, no.
And so he said, "Do you want a tour of he had a warehouse. Do you want a tour?" I said, "Sure." We walked around several floors. And as I was walking down one of the aisles, he was ahead of me. There was a cart that was had junk, like trash on it, and it had a barrel. And I just glanced inside for the heck of it. And at the very bottom, I saw like a 1/4 inch of gold.
Oh, wow.
Looked like, in my mind, it was like, well, the thing is gold that I'm looking for, and that would be impossible. But I didn't even ask him. I just reached in, and I pulled it out, and it was the communicator.
Oh,
and it
wow.
was way to the trash.
Oh, wow. That's perfect timing.
That was lucky.
Yeah. So
it was meant to be. You were meant to find it.
Those are the reasons why it's my favorite, because of that story and the miracle of finding it, as well as that it was the first gadget I ever saw on TV.
That's very cool.
That's such a great story. I love that. Really, it's like it's meant to be. You were meant to have that.
If you hadn't been there, that would have been in the garbage. So permanently. So
I know. Well, if I hadn't walked down that aisle, if I hadn't looked, if I hadn't, I mean, there's so many aspects to it that it couldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Annie, what is your hope now that we're going to be getting new Bond movies, and there's kind of a new team that's going to be ushering them into a new era? What is your hope for James Bond as the franchise continues to move forward?
Well, I mean, I hope it's a darn good movie that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I know people who are in such split opinions, as you probably know from being heavily into Bond as you are. But I know people who say I'm done with Bond, or they were so upset about how No Time to Die ended. That I don't want anything to do with it anymore. Or I'm not one of those, and I have hope. I'm guardedly hopeful for it, but I think a lot of fans, I mean, when we heard about, Amazon, MGM and Amazon getting control of it, what are they going to do? Is it going to be milked? Is it going to have TV shows and game shows? And is the quality going to drop? Is it going to look like a Marvel superhero movie? Is it, there's all concerns. And I guess, anything can happen, except that I think like some people are encouraged by the director and writer they hired. Sounds like they're serious about it, obviously, and they should be, because they invested so much.
Billions.
They want it to be successful and liked and everything, obviously. So I don't know. I'm somebody who would like to see elements of the series retained. I mean, I'd love the Bond theme to be retained. I'd love to have
it probably will be.
The barrel sequence. I love that. It's
I need a gun barrel at the beginning of every movie. I demand one.
Yeah, the couple movies, where they didn't have it, or
it was at the end, or was at the end.
Like end of Quantum and the end of Skyfall. And my brother and I looked at each other in the theater and was like, what?
Right. No, it's like you got to have those circles when it begins. It's
Yes.
that's James Bond.
The audience goes nuts when
Yeah.
those circles, when those
Yeah, they
dots
do.
start rolling across.
Yeah.
It sets up the tone and the excitement. And when I totally get why they didn't do it for Casino Royale, because they did a real stylized version of it to kind of reintroduce Bond, but not having it at Quantum, not having it at the top of Skyfall, and even the director's like, oh, the hallway is kind of like no, 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 not a hallway. It's got to be the gun barrel.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want with Bond. You can experiment and everything with the movie. Just give us a gun barrel.
Totally. I agree. Yeah. So, yeah, I hope for that. And I hope, I'd like it to be as faithful as possible to Fleming's novels,
Yeah, true.
It would be cool if there was, if they set it back, at the time of Fleming's novels. I don't think they're going to do that. I know who would like to see that, but yeah, I'm just hoping, for good casting, for the actors, and love to see the M and Moneypenny and just a great story, and I'm hoping that they can, if it's, if they're going to refresh it or something, that it's really like, even if it has its own thing to it, its own stamp or style, that's kind of exciting. Maybe there's going to be something really great ahead. So I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I think there's too much money on the line for them to like mess it up. I mean, they're gonna want to please everybody, basically. So, I mean, I'm very positive. I know Steve and I are on the positive end of fandom, so we're hopeful. So, so we always.
Yeah.
I'm just happy there's another film or there will be because the gaps were becoming longer and longer. So So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great that we have a new one coming, and just hope for the best. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fingers crossed. So what are your plans for the future with your collection? What do you have in the pipeline?
I'm about to do a big outreach to museums and stuff to try to line up new ones, because I don't have any lined up right now. I just did an exhibit a couple of months ago at the Pacific Symphony. It was a fundraising event for them for education for children, and I did an exhibit there. It was just on a weekend, So I had that, but I want to reconnect with some of the places that have had it before to see if they'd like to do it again. Like some of the presidential museums. I was also at the Nixon Museum and stuff like that. So. Yeah, I'm just, I want to put the word out, basically. And for anybody who's listening here.
Yeah, we'll help you with that. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping, have people, come to me if they're looking for the Spy-Fi exhibit, that would be great. Cause I see a big, future for it continuing, because it's always been very popular,
Yeah. Oh, you wrote, so your book that you wrote, can you talk a bit about that and how that came out? I mean, how that came to fruition?
Yeah, I was actually contacted by somebody who was like a book packager when I was doing the Reagan, my Spy-Fi exhibit at the Reagan Presidential Library. I think it was I had a big LA Times article about the exhibit, and he read it and he contacted me immediately, and he said, "You need to have a book. You need to have a book." And I've been thinking about that for years. I should really do a book. And he got it going because he planted it. It's like, I can represent this. So suddenly it became like, oh, I've got this agent here who's already interested. Maybe I should do it right now. So he helped, he packaged it, like he had a designer, and we did like a prototype kind of presentation, and he sent it out to publishers. And I got interest from two different publishers who made offers. And so I chose one of them, which which I was really happy about the design they did. They specialize in the design of the book.
Oh, show it, yeah.
It's right there.
There it is. Incredible World of Spy-Fi. Nice cover.
Yeah, Incredible World of Spy-Fi. So yeah, I'm really happy with what they did, and it was published. It was printed twice, once in soft cover and once in hardcover. Really happy with it. And I have a huge stock of it. I know a lot of people have bought it, but anybody's got tons of them.
Okay.
So
they're out there.
Yeah, it was great.
For all of our listeners, just send us a message.
Yeah.
We'll let Danny know.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So Yeah.
That's good. That's great. No. Yeah. So we'll definitely put the word. Hopefully this will put the word out for people if they
Yeah.
want to see your exhibitions. That would be great. Have you ever displayed in Los Angeles before? Have you ever had something here?
Not in LA per se. I've
Yeah.
had Queen Mary. We did
Hmm.
a exhibit like 10 months or something with almost like 500 pieces. And so that was there. That was the closest I got, except, and then there was in CME for the Reagan.
Sure.
But that's the closest I've got. Oh, and I did have an exhibit at the Hollywood Heritage
Oh
Museum.
yeah. I've been there. Yeah.
And that was like a 1 day thing. They wanted to do something with me and have me speak. So I spoke, and I did a TV special called Hollywood Spy Tech on Discovery Channel that I
Yeah.
co-produced and wrote and directed. And so we screened it there and then had an exhibit of my stuff there. But everything else has been, out of state. And then I had one in London just 2 years ago.
Oh,
Exhibit.
cool.
Oh,
Wow.
awesome.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Have
Yeah.
you ever met the Bond producers, the Broccolis? Have they seen your stuff or?
Yeah, I met Barbara Broccoli and Michael Wilson. I was working on some legal cases for them.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, James Bond cases as a extra consultant for them, and so it went on for like 3.5 years. It was a case against Sony.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
Okay.
and so when I hadn't met them during, I was working with lawyers, for MGM. And but when we won the case, basically, it's like Sony settled, and it was a huge achievement. It was a huge accomplishment
Yeah.
to rights and not have Sony out there doing other competing.
yeah. Ooh.
McClory was behind.
Yeah.
So we had a big dinner. They threw a dinner for those of us who were working on the case, and that's when I met them. And Barbara gave me a big hug, and everything.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it's nice to meet them. I chatted with them a little bit, but that's the only time I've actually met them.
Oh, that's great.
Times later, but yeah.
That's great. No, that's wonderful. Well, I've only seen your stuff online, but it's very impressive. So we appreciate you speaking with us because
Yeah, thank you so much. We're looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing them in person and
At some
the
point.
next exhibits and seeing you at the next screening. And
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're glad you came to Thunderball. That was
yeah,
a fun night.
it was great to meet you and your son too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great night. You guys did a fantastic job.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Lucy was fantastic.
Yeah, she was great. Yeah, there's a line of people afterwards. It was she was very happy. She was very
she had a
happy.
great night, and that made us happy.
Yeah.
It was just to make her happy. That was great.
Yeah.
Great what you guys are doing. I appreciate it, and I know all the fans do. It's great. It's about time for Los Angeles having this, what you guys put together.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I was just like amazed that for a town like this that makes movies, there was no Bond club or organization or any regular. I mean, there are Bond events occasionally, but not regular. So we wanted to fix that. So
Yeah.
On some level. So
You have done.
Well, I just very quickly want to address. I have to let people at home who are watching know I'm about 3 hours ahead.
yeah, you're fading away right now.
I'm starting to disappear into the background.
You're in Pennsylvania right now. He's in Pennsylvania.
I'm in Pennsylvania right now. I'm in my father's art studio in my parents' house where there's no actual light in the room.
Yeah, you're becoming a ghost. So, there you go.
It looked great a little bit ago, but now I started to notice, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, you're fading.
I'm literally starting to fade.
All right.
It's like out of Back to the Future. So.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So sorry, folks at home, if they were like, "What is Steve on?"
I know.
Yeah, he's starting.
Or does he really exist? Is he really like an AI?
Yeah.
I know, right? Yeah. No, he definitely exists. Well,
oh, now I'm Connery.
There you go. Yeah. Well, thank you. We really appreciate you taking the time. It was wonderful speaking with you. And
Danny, it was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
a lot.
Bill, I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, and thanks a lot, and yeah, we'll speak with you soon. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Danny.
Bye bye.